Hello. The other day I made a video that introduced using a pool noodle with a floor ceiling ball to give you something to avoid and to attack around. A few people liked that idea, so I thought I'd make a quick one about something similar you can do with a heavy bag. This is my old balance stick that I tend to use for saw testing. Just gives you something that moves when you're hitting it, a target you can attack from both ends. And I have a chain with 6 links on it for the heavy bag. It means I've got a spare one to use, but if you don't have that, you can just click this onto the heavy bag's chain or one of these D-rings. It moves around a little bit more this way. Here you've got to be a little bit more careful, because if this catches your head, it will hurt you. And if I was going to do this a lot, I'd probably use fabric tape on the end so there's no sharp edges that can catch you in the eye. What you see is this moves around quite a lot, quite unpredictable, makes it more difficult to attack, and it quite well simulates having to avoid somebody's punches. In fact, it's potentially dangerous enough that you probably want a pair of gloves on when you're using it so you can really cover up. Now, there is a serious side to this. If you're being careless doing this, you will end up with a cut on your eye. You could even end up with something worse. I use the principle, nothing to do with combat sports, but something I also use when I'm firing crossbows in a small space. You don't start 50 foot away from the target and hope for the best. You start 10 foot away. When you know you hit every time, you move another 10 foot away, and so on. And that way you can be absolutely sure, unless some inconceivable freak accident happens, you're definitely not going to miss a target. Similarly here, I'm being very cautious. And I've never been hit by this, whereas using the pool noodle with a floor ceiling ball, I don't mind taking a few more risks. That said, my brother-in-law, thanks Martin, suggested using snooker balls, and I'm going to try that, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. See, that was a little bit close. What I'm really saying is, if you're going to do this a lot, then you want to do better than this. You probably want to use fabric tape on the ends and make sure it can't catch you in a nasty way in the eye. But I think if you try it, you'll agree it's far more realistic than just attacking the bag on its own. And makes you consider range a little bit more, and you've got to employ defence. And that's it, nice short video. I've been really busy. Everybody's busy in this day and age. I've got a few things coming up. I've got a nice long and hopefully well structured video that will follow up from Punch Fundamentals Part 2. Got some additional things to say about that I think will be fairly useful. I've also had a pretty good time recently. I've been doing weightlifting, just my standard working routine, and I'm really starting to feel some injuries improve. So I will have some more lifting videos before long. That's it for now. Just another idea of a way to make the bag more interesting. Oh, and I do have some other things coming up. I've got a few parts that are being ordered, and when they arrive, I've got some other mechanisms that might make it more interesting when you're using the bag. And I'm also slowly working on something that will measure punch force without having to pay £2,000 to £6,000 for a power cube, which is a very nice device, but that's ridiculous for most home users. That's it then. Cheers. See you next time.